Hi everyone, it's Astronaut B. It has been so great that I can still communicate with my friends back on Earth using our amazing communication system. I have been thinking though, it does take me a while to type all of the commands. In this lesson, we will learn about the power of parameters. We will also introduce our first data type known as integers. Let's take a look at one of my recent communications and maybe we can think of a way to use integer parameters to reduce the amount of function calls I need to make in order to send a symbol to my friends. Here is one of my previous communications. For this message, I needed to call turn 3 times and then send. Then I need to call the turn function 5 times and then send. Turn, 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 turn. Hey, let me guess. Oh, how about turn? This is a lot of repeated code. Can you think of a better way? Yes. If there was a way to tell the turn method that I want it to turn a certain number of times, then I could just call it once with that information, and it would greatly reduce the amount of times I need to call it. I have just the way. I remember our computer system has another version of the turn function called the turn by function that uses parameters. A parameter is a value that can be sent into our function when we call it. When we use parameters, the function has to be set up to accept a certain type of value. In this case, our function accepts integers. An integer is a whole number or a number that is not a fraction or a decimal. That can be positive, negative, or zero. So, what is the syntax for sending a parameter along with our function call? Well, let's take a look. As you can see, those parentheses at the end of our function call is the place where our parameters go. In this case, since we are sending one parameter, we just type the number into the parentheses of the turn by function that represents how many times we want the flashlight to turn in a clockwise motion. Here, we are asking the computer to turn the flashlight clockwise 2 times. Let's see how we can use parameters to simplify our code that we used earlier. How do you think we can modify this code using our new function that accepts a parameter? That's right. When we need to call the turn function multiple times, we can replace it with one call to our new turn by function, including the number of turns as a parameter. We can do this in 2 places, just like this. Now our code is much more compact. Using functions in this way not only makes our code shorter, but it makes it much easier to read for other people who may want to take a look at your code. We can apply this to other systems as well, like our ship navigation system. How can we modify this code using parameters to make this system more efficient? That's right, we could introduce a parameter to say how many spaces we want to move. Instead of calling the move function 5 times in a row, we could now use a move by function passing in 5 as the parameter indicating the number of times we want to move. By using parameters, the system will do the same actions with much less code. Wow, that's great! It is so much easier to read. Now we've learned that parameters are pieces of information that we can pass to a function. They often reduce the amount of times you would need to call a function if you didn't use parameters. We also learned about integers, which are positive or negative whole numbers, including 0. We can use those as parameters. Be sure to complete the programming tasks, practice questions, and extension activities before moving on to the next lesson. And remember, in the universe of coding, the possibilities are infinite. I'll see you next time.